So, as most of you know, we had an election that came up in the last couple of weeks. Spoiler alert, Joe Biden won. Hooray! Woohoo! Now, we could talk about the 50-50 split, the near 50-50 split of the election that shows how truly divided we still are as a country here in the States. We could talk about how this could be a very chaotic next 2-month period where the transition of power isn't quite happening the way that it should amidst a global pandemic that is just getting worse and worse again as the holidays kick into overdrive. No big deal. But what I would like to talk about is things that we can and can't control. We can't control how others respond to information, but we can control how we receive information. Over 250 days have passed since Breonna Taylor's murder at the hands of police. We have the power as people to continue to hold others accountable for their actions, to speak out against injustices where we see it or may hear it. We can also try to not antagonize the other side, wherever you may be on the political spectrum. Now, Merrick, why would we do that? The internet is like the friggin' wild, wild west. Well, we do that, in my opinion, because our noble heroes would do that. The heroes that we read about daily: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Captain America, Steve Rogers. Now, I am aware of how difficult this will be going forward, but I think it's very important to try to find some common ground with others that may be spread across the aisle. Don't bother online. It's like an arm wrestling match that no one ever concedes and no one ever wins. Don't try going into the Facebook comments trying to persuade the other side. It's not going to work. Don't bother with that. But I do think the choices that we make for ourselves in real life to help others is what can drive change, real change. Now, of course, we can continue to share, donate, and encourage others to do the right thing, spread as much positivity as we can. Now, wearing a mask is positive. Praising someone for giving back to a community is positive. Calling out police for shooting first and asking questions later and demanding better from our law enforcement officials, that's positive. Poking fun at the other side for losing this election, even though they clearly rubbed it in our faces by calling us little snowflakes the last 4 years, that's not positive. It's not positive to still call out the other side all the same, in my mind. It helps nothing, and you can't ignore them because this election was, again, almost even split down the middle, so it's not like it's a matter of majority and minority. It's pretty even. So I say respond as your superheroes would. And again, how prevalent are superheroes in today's society? They're the biggest movies of all time. It's a fact financially. Money talks. Now, you're not going to change a lot of minds at this point because everyone kind of has confirmation biases in a lot of ways, especially with how media gives the public content. And it's only going to get worse from here. But I do think you can encourage people to do the right thing. A long battle is ahead in Washington that's going to affect policies that work against too many people in this country. And we very well may find that the side that was voted in isn't doing the job that they promised they would. And we promise to call them out if they're not creating the change that we want. Like, we're not looking to be hypocrites here. Like, if they're not doing the job that we asked them to, we're going to be back at square one, and we're going to be just as pissed as we were before. But if we continue to rise up like we have this past year, like we did to vote, because many of us did in fact vote, I think we can make this a place where everyone is happy at some point in the near future. It's going to take a while. The road is going to be very long. Many of us thought we were a lot closer than we actually are. It's not the case, contrary to what we were taught in middle and elementary school and high school. But I do still believe in people because that's what my heroes would do. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Captain America, just to name a few. So I'm not going to give up, and I don't think you should either. And that is what I gathered from this past election cycle that felt like it went on for 10,000 years. Now it's over, and hopefully we can try to finally move forward together as people. Barney, do you have any brief thoughts on what I'm saying? Feel free to disagree with anything that I'm saying. This is just
No, I'm in agreement with a lot of that. I think it's important for us not to become complacent at this point. And like you said, we need to extend that olive branch across the aisle, because stooping to their level is not something that is going to help anyone.
yeah. Which again, I stress, it is easier said than done because of just where communication is nowadays.
Right, but you achieve more through positive means.
Yes.
Like you said, I think that was a really good point. And being positive and putting positive thoughts and actions out into the world is very important. And I'm here for that.
Yeah, thanks, man. Like I ever since I watched Captain America: The Winter Soldier with Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, Captain America, I've asked myself quite often, and I will still continue to do so, what would Captain America do? And I don't think he would antagonize the other side, and I want to do everything in my power to do the same, because to me, he is the cinematic definition of positivity and heroism. And that's to me, and I think that's justified based on his source material and everything that's been produced around him, certainly post Winter Soldier and everything else. So that's just how I choose to look at things.
That is a unanimous trait among heroes, like you say, is not to make fun of people or to antagonize people. For the most part, they beat the crap out of the bad guys when that's all that's left.
Right.
But their intention is to for the good of all people.
And we've talked about this before on the show, like, the point of kind of superheroes and comic books and what they're meant to be for an audience. And sometimes people will kind of skew that and think it's a very specific thing, when in fact it's meant to be a very general thing of heroism and positivity and all these things that we just talked about. And I'm just trying my best as a person at the end of 2020 to hold on to those ideals for as long as I possibly can.
With great power comes great responsibility, and we all have great power within us.
Yes, we do.
Whether we realize it or not, you have a lot of power to influence the people that you talk to on a daily basis, the people that you interact with, even in the smallest ways, flashing someone a smile and saying thank you, or opening a door for someone. These are small things that go towards making the world a better place for everyone. And I think that is more powerful than people often think. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
And when you think about it that way, the Spider-Man mantra kind of fits for everyone, because we all have power and we should all use it responsibly.
It does.